Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of Ramadan with the Mandem. Before we get into today's episode, I just want to say Alhamdulillah. Just yesterday, we put out the Amazon wish list, which is in the description, and someone, I don't know who it was because it's completely anonymous, ordered 2 brand new mics for us. So I'm still waiting for the stands and stuff to arrive. This is the old broken stand that I'm using. But the point is, Alhamdulillah, now I have my own mic. And this was on Strides' episode, Mahboob's episode. When we did Mahboob's episode, alhamdulillah, someone decided to buy us 2 mics, all the stands, everything. This was some other equipment as well. So if you are, because some people prefer, when I'm donating to charity, I want to know specifically where my money's going. So we've given you guys the option, if you want to buy a specific, for example, something as small as, a lav mic, which is about £40 or so, along those lines, or an SD card. Or, there are some bigger items of equipment that we've also got on there. It's up to you now if you want to decide to choose something or you can give in general. But more on that later on in the episode. Yeah. In today's episode, we have a very special guest. Some of you might recognize him from a video that came out on our channel a while ago. And that was the KC Knowledge College Meet the Students.
You've, recently started to embark upon a journey towards knowledge. Before this journey towards knowledge, what were you like?
Generally, I was that kid who just wanted to fit in, wanted to be cool. I actually just come out of prison in March. What got me there is trying to be cool and trying to fit into people's ideas or things.
And for those of you that haven't seen him, I'll give a quick introduction. His name is Abdullah. He's one of the brothers who've been attending for quite a while in the masjid, and he's also got a few things going on in his own masjid. And we'll get into that a little bit more as the episode progresses.
Yeah, you have your own masjid as well.
Alhamdulillah.
I went there. Did I tell you the other day?
Yeah, you said you saw him, right?
I saw him there. It's a long story, but I don't talk about that too much on camera right now.
Okay.
But yeah, listen. So
I figured it out. He didn't tell me, but I figured it out.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. So I'm trying to figure out how you figured out the wrong thing. Imagine he thinks that.
No.
Okay.
It's the.
Yeah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Okay, never mind. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna bleep that out anyway. So actually, first and foremost,
not just that, we did the MXP podcast as well.
MXP podcast as well. That's right.
No.
So first and foremost, introduce yourself. What's your name? Do you go by a kunya? Do you use your name? This is a running theme on the show. People are dropping their names.
Yeah.
So have you got a name that you'd like to drop, or what would you like to be referred to as?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. My name, my kunya, I've given it Abu Muallimi. I've given it that, yes. Just after the name of the scholar Abdurrahman bin Yahya al-Muallimi rahimahullah. And he's level 1. He was Yemeni like me, so I aspire to be maybe even a point of what he was like, inshallah. So Abdullah.
I don't think I've ever come across anyone with that kunya. So very, very unique.
It's recent. The Sheikh died in the 50s, right? 60s, something like that.
Yeah. Very unique kunya. Allahumma barik.
Yeah.
Actually, the first question I want to ask you, let's get straight into it. Let's not waste any time. It's the month of Ramadan, month of the Quran. So we want people to benefit from the Quran as much as possible. So we're going to try and keep it as short as possible. What was the first time ever in your life where you came into contact with our da'wah?
So that was Imran before even you was there, and the brother Mahboob and all of it was way before that. It was saying Gucci hat days. What year was that?
He's been wearing a Gucci hat this year, bro.
That
ain't gone anywhere.
That's so shocking for me. That was literally 9-10 years ago.
Yeah, I remember when that video came out of that guy. You made him take off his earring and make him throw it on the high street here.
Wow.
Was it here?
It was right.
Yeah. I remember. I used to watch from days, but those days I was just young. I've always had this appreciation for Deen. I don't want to expose my age, but yeah.
Okay.
That's it. You're trying to get married, all the sisters become young. Listen, I'm whatever you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Some sisters will lie. Right, let's not do that.
Inshallah. So
yeah, I was young.
That's shocking because sometimes I think to myself, people that come to the masjid now, watch the videos now, did they even remember that stuff? That was so long ago, akhi.
Nah, I do. I remember.
Real transition, man.
I remember I stopped watching all da'wah videos for a long, maybe a year, and I came back and I remember when that first video put on your new channel. You used to have the Dawah Man channel, and then you put a new Nasiha session channel.
Yeah.
Your beard was a bit longer.
Yeah.
You used to wear that blue jacket. I remember all those stuff. I remember seeing the change from t-shirts and hats to Allahumma barik.
Well, let me ask you a question. So back then, when you used to watch those videos, why were you watching them? Was it just entertainment? Was it actually benefit? What was the kind of theme back then?
I've always had interest in deen, like, and whatever it was, whether it was debates or even when I was young in school, me and my cousin, we would used to have the RE teachers on ropes. Like, alhamdulillah, my mum made sure that we understood and we learned a good foundation of deen. So even when I wasn't really praying or whatever, I would always appreciate it. I would always watch videos, and I was interested in deen, always, RE and all of those type of stuff. So anything to do with deen related, and I see a person's got a beard, he's giving dawah. I've always known about what the concept of dawah is. So when I see it, I used to appreciate it. So
Mashallah.
whoever it was,
Alhamdulillah.
But now, yeah.
Do you remember the first time me and you actually spoke?
Yeah, it was a DM, right?
It was a DM
Yeah,
on
it was a DM.
Instagram.
Yeah, it was a DM. I DM'd
I
you.
thought you guys met in person.
No, the
No,
first time
I
we
DM'd
spoke was on. Do you want to mention it?
Same with Mahbub as well, innit? You be sliding into a lot of brothers' DMs.
Nah, I think I DM'd
He
him.
did this on. He did.
I
me.
DM'd
Oh, he
him.
DMs you.
He did.
I was in a mad situation because I had come out of custody, youth custody, and I was on tag, and the yellow book course
He
came
really
out.
wanted to seek knowledge.
Spreading the deen, I remember.
Nah, I wanted to go, and I had no way out. And then my cousin just said to me, "Why don't you just send a message, see if you can?" Originally, the plan was he was going to teach me it separately. So I wanted to come, but I couldn't come to the courses because
So you agreed to teach him.
Yeah, he said we
He
can
was
do
a
it. Go
random
for it again.
stranger.
I can't lie. His message touched me, man. He said I'm something like I'm.
Do you know
And
you do
tag,
that?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So your thing is usually, I'm going to prioritize the brothers that attend the classes, they come to the masajid, like
Yeah.
them, you want to focus on
No,
developing
but the
those.
reason why it stuck out to me is because the brother's saying, I just, like he said, he's on tag. He just come out of, situation. And he's not saying I want to change my life. He's not saying I want to attend lectures, I want to be around brothers. He's saying I want to learn ilm.
Yeah.
He said I want to go through books. That's what he's saying. I was like, wow, man, that's rare. Allahumma barik. So I thought if I could take some time out, I would.
So that was what, 2018?
Yeah. But the reason why is because before, while I was on tag, and we spoke about when I was in Leicester and that, I was on the knowledge college learning, anything I could. And so I developed this desire to learn. And I said to myself, the 4 months when I was inside, I said to myself, when I come out, I'm going to take this seriously. I remember the first week, Shaykh Abdul Rahman came to Al-Ittisam Bisun in East London. He done a lecture on the importance of time. That's the first time I saw him in real life. And from then, I just said to myself, I have to take it seriously because I didn't know when I was going to get that chance again. So Alhamdulillah.
The first time I actually ever saw him in person, because we spoke but we never met.
Okay.
So he started coming to the dawah.
Yeah, acting, yeah.
And he was sitting on a chair, and I saw like a lump hanging off his ankle.
Oh.
And then I was like, okay, this is the brother.
I had a laptop as well in this.
Yeah, well, so this is in the lesson with the tag, and then he would have to leave like 2 hours before it ended to make it back home in time for his tag. But you know what's shocking? Like that's kind of normal. Like even there was another brother that was because now they have he had a tag where he had to charge it himself.
Mm.
The Dora that was
Yes.
Sam man did in the summer. He'd be in the Dora, he's
Charging
charging his tag and whatnot. You know how many brothers actually are in jail that are on knowledge college that attend the Muslim Father classes?
As in they're doing the classes while they
Why are they in jail? Like
jail.
some brothers message me and they're like, that man's in jail, but man's trying to seek knowledge. And I've got a bunch of brothers here.
I don't know whether to say, it's illegal, you shouldn't have a phone in jail, or whether to say Allah
gonna say
Barik. I'm not quite
Let's
sure
just
which
say
one
they
to,
got a good way to get it.
Let's just say no comment. Let's just stick to no comment.
Please.
Wait, no, Allah Alam, some jails, they allow you to have phones, right?
Do they? Mobile phones?
Bro, I've never been to jail.
Nah.
Like if you're like a D category or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're allowed to. I don't know what
I
you're
don't
going
know.
for.
No.
I don't know about DCAT though. As in like
Wait,
DCAT.
DCAT's the pedophiles, isn't it?
You don't,
No, DCAT is like low
less,
category.
Yeah, low category.
So the CCAT's the pedophiles.
No, pedophiles will
I
probably
don't know. Anyway,
Peacock.
anyway, inshallah, there's no pedophiles in our church. But the point I'm making is that there's like, as in that's for me the beauty is
But
when
one second, would it be wrong if a pedophile went to seek knowledge?
it wouldn't, but I'm not trying to be like associated to that kind of.
No, of course, but as if someone's watching your
Peacock.
videos, you're not
You
associated
can
with them.
watch. You can watch. May Allah, it's a serious thing to be honest.
No,
No, of course.
Yeah,
But
may
as in,
Allah-
as
may
in,
Allah
you
cure
made it
people's
sound.
sicknesses like
I
that.
mean, but as you made it sound as if they're not allowed to seek knowledge.
No, they're allowed to seek knowledge. My point was I was not trying to associate with that. That's, you know what I'm saying? The point I'm making is that for me, what really touches me, and this is why I like, I have a soft spot for you, is that when a brother comes from
He
that,
truly does. Well, he mentions you a lot.
Barakallahu feek.
when a brother comes from like that kind of background, but then he now wants to seek knowledge, That's beautiful, man. And there's many brothers like that, like you know, Jabir, and brother Umar, Yunus, mashallah, like. Like a lot of them, like a lot of brothers came from lifestyles that were not really. And the reason I mention this is because some brothers are watching, they're thinking, "Akhi, me, I'm not one that was good in school. I'm not one that's good at taking notes. I'm not good at one studying. I can't really seek knowledge. It's not really my thing." But then we've got brothers that are going on to become, inshallah ta'ala, very, very strong students of knowledge in the future. So it can happen for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Even outside the Dawah, I remember we had some of the brothers who just started practicing on our Umrah trip, which was just before the Dawah happened. They're fresh off the roads, fresh off the streets, and they're attending 6 a.m. Fajr classes, advanced Aqidah books. And they're even telling, they're saying, bro, I'll be honest with you, a lot is going over my head, but like, I understood this point, understood that point. And alhamdulillah, the fact that they're there and they're benefiting shows that knowledge is for anyone. It's about whoever wants it, you'll get it.
100%.
If you don't want it, you could be the most academic. We know people, they're extremely academic. They know knowledge went over their heads. And they're on something, they're on something else. So don't think that because I'm not, necessarily academic according to, the standards of society, I'm not academically
linear,
like maths, English, science, I flopped it. That doesn't mean it's about your heart.
That's a very true point. Like, because Abdullah, we've been doing Al-Hamawiyya, right? So one of the things that we learned there is that these philosophers were very intelligent people. In fact, more intelligent than a lot of people, right? But that doesn't mean they were guided. So it's not about the one who does best in school or whatever have you. But let me ask you a question, Akhi. So obviously, when you now wanted to start practicing, coming to classes, seeking knowledge, did you have friends from Jahiliyyah that you cut off?
Yeah, of course.
Explain that to us, because I honestly feel like that is one of the biggest things that causes people to I feel like two things get people to slip off, even if they come in classes, and that's friends and social media. That where they're still connected to those people. So explain to us that and give any advices to the brothers that are listening, and
Yeah, definitely, Akhi. I always say that as well. The two main things is friends, and I think social media ties into it, and music. Those two things. And I feel like if a person hasn't cut off his friends from Jahiliyyah, and even Muslim friends, but like he's trying to remove himself from that environment, that avenue is still open, and your iman is high sometimes it will drop. So it's sometimes when your iman drops, that avenue, when you got those friends on Snapchat, you're seeing these things, is going to lead you towards it. And wallahi, when I made that choice, when I deleted those friends and I cut off completely, that's when I see that things were starting to change. I had a lot of free time on myself. I was like, what am I going to do with my time? But you see that, you're more firm. Iman will the shaitan will grab you when the iman is low, right? So that's what I say to the brothers the brothers in my area when I try to advise them, is that you need to sit down. Like, for example, one of my friends, his mother just died a few weeks ago, rahimahullah. And mashallah, this brother, I said to him, Akhi, you want to change? You serious about changing? He said, yeah, Akhi, I want to change. My mom died. He has younger brothers. He want to be a good example to them. I started going, just teaching them wudu and Aqidah, stuff like that. And I said, Akhi, the first thing you need to do is delete everybody on your phone, Snapchat, all of that. He said, I've done it, all of it. And you see him now that, a few months later, he's like, he's a bit more firm. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen brothers, may Allah, bring them back and guide them, that they were up once upon a time seeking knowledge, once upon a time, Allahumma barik, or upon istiqamah. Like because they went back to those bad friends. I know a friend of mine, look at the trick of the shaitan. The shaitan told him that he's going to go back to his friends and teach them usul al-thalatha that he's been studying. Okay, and then he was teaching them, mashallah, good few weeks, going well. And
his friends are on road.
Yeah. So he's trying to give da'wah to them, so then obviously.
So just for people who don't know, usul al-thalatha is a book that goes through the questions in the grave. As to how to answer the questions in the grave.
Exactly. So after they finish the class, they start playing game. Khalas, he got caught. So they're playing game, they're chilling. Oh, let's go munch. That's it. From that point onwards, you got caught. But so you have to, if you're going to teach them, you have to just teach them and go. But if you're going to, chill them, the avenue is still open. Wallah, and it's dangerous.
We used to say this because there was a lot of people, I remember back in the days especially, when we used to speak to people and they used to say, oh, look, like, we used to say certain things, don't do them because, they're haram. But they'd be like, but we need to relate to the youth. But the point is, when you say relate to the youth, it doesn't mean that you throw yourself into what into their arena, into their
100%.
into their ring, so to speak. Rather, you bring them into your environment,
100%.
into your ring. You can still relate to them. We're not saying don't relate to them. You have to relate to them, but make it in your environment.
Yeah,
make it in
100%.
your. Otherwise, you're supposed to be affecting them. They're gonna end up affecting you, and you might not even realize it until it's too late.
And another thing as well also is this is to consider that when you want to go back and help your friends, you can't help them if you haven't helped yourself. Like, you see me, wallahi, sometimes I feel bad about it, but then I don't feel bad about it. Like, when I started practicing, I didn't help any of my friends from Jahiliyyah. Not one of them, akhi. Not one friend of Jahiliyyah did I go back to and say, come. There was one kafir guy, I tried to give him da'wah. He wasn't, he wasn't trying to listen. May Allah guide him, he's still alive. He's still got time. But apart from that, like, I didn't go back to any of my friends, Muslim or non-Muslim, with the concept of let me help them. You know why? Because I knew I need to help myself. I knew those guys are where they're in the studio. Those guys are where they're on the blocks. I'm going to go to help them there. They're going to pull me back. So I had to help myself. So I was focusing on myself for so many years that, akhi, so many of them, I don't even know where I would find them if I was to look for them now. Like, as in, some of them I don't even know their real names. As in, it's just their tags. And if you search it, there's like 100 guys with that tag. As in, I wouldn't even know where to find them. I don't know if but there's some that I do know. There are some that I do know, and they did start practicing, not because of me, but Allah guided them anyway. And that's the point I want to mention, is that sometimes it's not even you that's going to guide them. Like, for example, my best friend from Jahiliyyah actually started practicing fully. Allah came to the Sunnah, Salafi. My best friend from Jahiliyyah. I never gave da'wah to him. No, not once. So my mind is, I want to help him when I haven't even helped myself. But the thing is, it's not even about me helping him. If Allah wants to guide him, He's going to guide him anyway. Does that make sense? Yeah. But in the moment, I have to take care of myself, and I can go back to him when I'm in a bit more of a stable state. And if Allah wants to guide him, He'll guide him through my hands. Or I might find he's already guided. And a lot of times that happens with girls as well. You're like a guy who wants to marry a girl, but we're gonna go off topic there. But the point that I mentioned is very important for people to cut off. Does that make sense? Yeah. Another thing, Abdullah, that you did with regards to your da'wah, which is I think a point that needs to be spoken about, because a lot of brothers need to learn from this. Yeah, is that you didn't just start practicing and say, let me give da'wah to help my friends or to my community. You said, let me start seeking knowledge. Because I can't give da'wah without knowledge, and then you're going to go back and help them. Right? Yeah. A lot of people, they start practicing, first thing TikTok, first thing Instagram account. He thinks that he can just start speaking about the religion now. Does that make sense? Yeah. When da'wah requires knowledge, it requires knowledge. So talk to us a bit about that angle of your journey.
To be honest, I had that experience as well, and I had a strong desire to seek to give da'wah, but I remember, and this is why, wallah, I say this to brothers honestly, and وَلَا أُزَكِّي عَلَى اللَّهِ أَحَدًا, I don't praise anybody, but I remember I had this zeal to give da'wah or to teach, and I remember you gave me advice and you said to me, akhi, your time's gonna come. I remember I still have this voice note, wallah, you said to me, I said I wanted to do something or whatever, and you said to me, akhi, your time's gonna come. Seek knowledge, and your time's gonna come when you can benefit people. But if you trying to give da'wah without knowledge, and you have nothing, no foundation, is going to come out sour, and the foundation is weak. So I took the advice, and I'm taking the advice, you know what I'm saying? And I said that, okay, I wanna teach people, I wanna give da'wah, and not on a social media level, I'm talking about just in my community and my people.
MashaAllah.
I said that, okay, these people, they need knowledge. Before that, they need knowledge, I need the knowledge, right? So alhamdulillah, and wallah, and I say this to myself all the time, that the ni'mah in London, that there's durus happening all over London. North, east, south and west, everywhere. Wallahi, وَلَا تُسْأَلُونَ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. Allah's going to ask us about this blessing, right? That there's classes everywhere. You can learn aqeedah, you can learn fiqh, experts in fiqh, experts in Quran and tajweed and nahwu and sarf. Wallahi, in London, it's a blessing. So, wallahi. One brother said to me, ignorance is a choice, right? In this day and age.
That's so deep. Man said ignorance is a choice.
Yeah. It is, wallahi.
Wallahi, it's true.
Wallahi.
Especially now, akhi, like you can, if you, the Quran, Arabic,
everything.
Like
fiqh, aqeedah, to a high, and fiqh, there's experts, you can learn fiqh to a high level. It's not just, I think to myself, like, Sir Alam ibn Balaya, al-Dhahabi, rahimahullah, these guys, they they had to do naskh of books. Every book they had to do.
As in copy.
Yeah, copy it.
Copy
Yeah.
it, handwritten.
So, and their knowledge was so unimaginable. How can one man write something like that? As I was saying before this, yeah. So imagine guys now, everything Dhahabi he could access. You can just search it on Waqfiyah. PDF is there. You can get it. But still, the ignorance is so like
So high.
so
wallah.
high.
It's so high, wallahi.
Wallahi,
You've
subhanallah.
come a long way, you know.
Huh?
So you've come a long way, you know.
Alhamdulillah.
Well, just even the way he's saying the
Allah.
words he's drawing, along.
Mashallah.
You know what it is? I feel like this show, because obviously we've got a lot of brothers around us, and it's hard to keep up with everyone. It's hard to.
Yeah.
I feel like
We're catching up with everyone.
catching up with everyone. That's
That's
nice,
good, that's
man.
good. Allah barik, man.
Alhamdulillah,
Allah
man.
barik.
Even
Allah
me,
bless
the other day I was in East, as something we alluded to earlier, and I was with some brothers and we decided to just go to a masjid. It's a local masjid. It's Masjid Rahma, right?
Taqwa, taqwa.
Taqwa. And yeah, just walked in there, and Allah Akbar, man. I walked in, I see Abdullah is in the front row. Allah Barik is there. Salah time. And then afterwards, I think there was a madrasa, there was a class or something that was going on.
Yeah.
And then I started. Then the brothers I was with knew him, and like for me, these were completely separate brothers. So they told me, yeah, no, mashallah, he's good. He's doing this, he's doing that.
MashaAllah.
And that started saying that mashallah, he's quite active within the masjid, within the community. And even another thing that I'll mention as well. The other day, I think these guys were planning to go to Peak District, I think it was.
Yeah, Sheffield.
Yeah, on the way to Sheffield, or near Sheffield. And of course, we went the other day to Snowdon. I think it inspired some of the brothers in it.
Was that what it was?
No, we was supposed to, but it flopped.
It flopped, but yeah, but they were supposed to. So they made a plan to go to Peak District and do some climbing or whatever. And they rented out a few cars as well. I think and one of my boys, Hamza, who's also from East.
Oh, Snowy went as well.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
on man.
Yeah.
Good brother, man. I love that.
So he's supposed to go. So then these men anyway. So I really wanted to go, but Qadarullah, my son wasn't feeling too well.
Yeah.
Plus we just went Snowdon the weekend before, so I was like, you know what?
He really wanted to go.
Yeah, I
He
really
really
honestly.
wanted to go.
So I'm on this thing now anyway. But don't worry, Badr Club for the brothers at the Badr Club on Instagram. Keep up to date. Only brothers only. Don't worry, inshallah, we're gonna have some serious content coming on there for you soon. So then I messaged Hamza the next day because he was hiring out a car, so I was helping him to find a guy to hire a car from and so on and so forth. And then I messaged him later on. Did you end up going? And what did he say? I said to him, he goes, I said, yeah, did you man go? He goes, nah. He goes, these men will take it long. Then Ramadan got announced, and I said, I want to make it back in time for Tarawih. So it kind of flopped. We just went to Sheffield, prayed, ate, and came back.
Prayed 8.
I was like, Rob,
Yeah,
man,
rational,
because he had an M4 and he thought he was going, country roads and whatnot.
Okay.
So I was like, we just on the
roads.
motorway the whole way. He's like, yeah. Plus the whip wasn't even moving. I had a problem. So I asked him, I said, listen, alhamdulillah, Allah saved me from your motive. Inshallah, from now on, I'm only going to arrange my own motives. If you want to arrange a motive, I already know that I'm not attending. But he goes, he said, alhamdulillah for being around the brothers anyway. Because motive-wise, it flopped. But he goes, alhamdulillah, if I'm around Abdullah, I don't even mind. Even if I'm going around in circles. He goes, Allahumma barik, I learned a lot from him. So just saying that, at the time I was confused. When he first said, I was like, who's Abdullah? Who's Abdullah who he's referring to? I wasn't sure. But like saying that really touched me. Do you know why? Because he's one of my boys from back in the days. And I feel like a lot of the time, like when we get a lot of brothers who we're giving da'wah to, it's difficult to keep up with everyone. So to know that alhamdulillah in East London that him and the other brothers have got someone that they can go to, it might not necessarily be, like not, at the same time, we're not trying to make out as if we're saying that these brothers have become scholars. That's a far, but just someone who you can benefit from, someone you can get advice from. Might not even necessarily be religious advice, but just about your situation and so on and so forth. It's a beautiful thing, wallah.
Well, honestly, man. Honestly, I really hope for you, Abdullah, that you remain sincere. And Allah protects you from Riya and Sum'ah and evil eye, and Allah really keeps you safe, because you, mashallah, tabarakallah, you're at a good age, man. If Allah gives tawfiq, if Allah gives you that assistance and that aid, you can get a good portion of knowledge, inshallah. Because look here, we're not going to mention your age, you're at an age that is very advantageous towards your journey of seeking knowledge. Imagine the next 20, 30 years.
رحم الله امرأ عرف قدر نفسه.
Ameen.
Allah have mercy on the one who knows himself.
He's trying to get married as well, right?
Huh?
He's trying to get married as well, right?
Inshallah. If Allah brings the rizq.
Sorry, they can apply in the comments.
In the comments, yeah.
Inshallah.
Or just send an email to Nasir Sessions.
No, if you're serious,
Only if you're serious.
find him on Sunnah Match.
Oh, are you on Sunnah Match?
Are you on Sunnah Match?
You're not on Sunnah Match?
Yeah.
Should we just make a promo code just for you? Just call it Yemeni. Yemeni promo code.
You know what it is? I want to go on it when I'm serious, because I know brothers are telling me like they're getting requests straight away, innit?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, alhamdulillah, I've had, but I know if I go on it, It's going to be a matter of time.
One sec. Sorry, I know we're starting going over time, but just to mention this
We do have to wrap it up.
this will be the last point. So you just said, so you obviously want to get married,
Inshallah.
but you're saying you don't want to jump on it right now, even though because you're not fully ready.
Yeah.
I think I think that is such an important point for a brother to consider, that to know he's not ready. Like that in itself shows growth. Like a lot of brothers just dive into getting married head first, and they don't even know if they're ready or not.
And what it means to be ready.
Yeah, so like, just why? Like, out of curiosity, like, why are you not ready?
My mum, I speak to my mum a lot about this, and she tells me, she just said, you know, if you're ready physically or whatever, that's been ready, but you see, you have to be ready. You have to, as in mentally as well. So you have to be ready financially. You have to understand that when you become a husband, you have to sacrifice yourself, and you can't want to, you know, enjoy your time and go out all the time and munch all the time. You have to be someone that's responsible for another human being. So alhamdulillah, I think mentally I can have that responsibility, but financially and in terms of resources, soon inshallah.
Barakallah fi akhi. Wallahi, jazakallah khair. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Barakallah.
Alhamdulillah. Brothers and sisters, as always, remember this podcast, we try and keep it, it's specifically to Ramadan. We're going to try and keep it as short as possible because we really want you guys to use this month to benefit from the Quran as much as possible. Those of you that are watching that haven't yet started to even read a single page of the Quran, wallahi, it's only 3 days into Ramadan, or 2, depending on, you know, what day you started fasting. So you can, you know, really, you got a lot of time to make benefit. You can catch up, read as much Quran as you can. Even as soon as you finish listening to this, just go pick up the Quran. Even if it's just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever time you have. Usually this comes out just before suhoor. So in that time, read some Quran, make some dua as well. You know, at that time, dua is accepted just before you break your fast. So keep us in your du'as as well. And of course, remember, one of the main reasons why we're doing the show is to raise some funds, because alhamdulillah, we now have our studio, but we're still not a long way away, but we've still got a little bit left. Alhamdulillah, even today, right now, we've got a brother who's come to do some painting for some of the sets. So inshallah, the Knowledge College set and the Relationship Goal set are both going to be painted today, inshallah. And if you guys would like to contribute towards the remaining costs of the show, there's a link in the description. There's also an Amazon wish list if you guys wish to purchase specific pieces of equipment. As I said, this mic, I don't know who bought it. A brother, a sister somewhere around the world decided to buy it. May Allah bless them, and now inshallah they're going to get the reward of every single person watching this.
Inshallah.
If you want to be a part of that, you can do that. And finally, let's not forget our brothers and sisters around the world, in Syria, Afghanistan, in Africa, in Palestine, in Yemen, all over, the Rohingya Muslims. You know, when these things are current, when they're happening there and then, everyone remembers, everyone jumps on the bandwagon. Suddenly everyone's sending around messages, the Twitter bio, the DP changes. But what do you do when the hype dies? You forget about it and you move on with your life. That's not how a Muslim should be. So if you're able to donate, I think it's about £40 for a family of 4 to 5, feed them for the whole month of Ramadan, the iftar will be covered just with £40. We spend £40 on 1 meal, 2 meals easily. So brothers and sisters, if you're able to do that, inshallah, the links are in the description. Other than that, we'll see you on the next episode. Who's going to be the next guest? You have to watch it to find out. Assalamu alaikum. Peace.